Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Switch, and of course Nintendo 3DS. So last time we actually did tackle by the forms of 11 stages in episode 3, or in this case chapter 3, whatever you want to try to call it that. And even then though, as usual, we've got ourselves these gems in addition to able to accomplish one of those mission objectives. So with that being said, today for this episode is the fact that we're going to be moving on to level 12 by the forms of Rock Block Badlands. So even then, that eventually at this point is the fact that I'm actually going to be well, the majority of the levels coming up, I'm actually going to be doing something completely different because the majority of the levels themselves go a little bit longer this time around. So even then, I would expect it able to do the mission objective first, and then able to actually get the gems in the process at the very end. So even then though, so let's get started right there, but in forms of, as I mentioned to you earlier, level 12 known as Rock Block Badlands. So even then though, I believe the mission objective in this level is just simply we need to able to utilize the turnip cannon once again. But even then, you have to deal with 10 shots or less. So even then though, if you manage to accomplish that, then you would able to accomplish the objective. But on the other hand though, I'm probably not gonna go through the just getting these gems after all, because after all, I might as well go after these gems until the second run through of this stage. So even then, if that's the case, then yeah, that's all I can really think about for the time being. So, now, originally as far as I'm trying to say to you guys before, that originally that had the fact that Sonic needs to get back into NES Remix 2, but unfortunately though, the continuation of the NES Remix 2 Let's Play is going to be delayed until sometime in September or October, because even then, because yeah, after all, that Sonic needs to get back into Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and during some point in September after finishing the Mega Man Marathon coming up during the next month. So, speaking of which, is the fact that today was actually forms of, well, as far as I'm trying to say to you for that at this point in time, well, we already got, today was actually forms of the 28th of July. Now, originally I did, originally say that in the last video, but somehow it's being uploaded in the different days because, well, Sonic won't able to be prepared to get back into NES Remix 2 anytime soon, because even then though, that again, our Wii U save data corruption has been, just been active. So even then though, that's the reason why we decided to do that system. So even then though, that's, well, another thing is kind of an issue. Granted though, because of how the fact that we're actually going to be still going back into this game exponentially before we actually get into the classic Mega Man series, because even then, that, well, as far as I can usually say about this at this point in time, unfortunately though, YouTube is pretty act out stupidly recently, because even then though, not to mention they're trying to add in new something to the table, which to be honest with you guys, I'm really not a huge fan of the new YouTube design compared to the old counterparts, because the old counterparts was actually very recognizable, and plus not to mention though, it's very simple and easy to use. On the other hand though, the new YouTube design though is pretty much black sheep for a few reasons. For one, my views count does not increase at all. Like, every time I watched it, like, I'm gonna have to keep on refreshing my page over and over again. Every time it does that, it just doesn't seem to, keeping track of the records of my views of my videos recently. Like, the fact that, for example, the 7th part on Kirby Mouse Attack, aka Kirby Squeak Squad Let's Play, the fact that Mario did finish that game, unfortunately though, part 7 doesn't actually get any views at all, which is completely ridiculous if you ask me. I think it's most likely because of the stupid new, YouTube updates and all that stuff. But even then though, I should probably be able to get blamed for that. But at the same time though, it's the fact that, dang it, I was really still super close to able to actually get to 200 subscribers at this point, because we're still actually on 195. I think it's most likely because of the new YouTube is being dished out on us. So even then, I think that's the prime example of that. So anyways though, back into this level once again, but this time we're about to be getting these gems. So even then, that's as far as you're expected to see how this will turn out. So, okay, we have to be quick here, because obviously, Well, you get like 3 turnips limitations here until you get the next gem, and the third and final gem is just usually you have to shot the cannon from that. So yeah, that's how it goes when it comes to getting these gems in this level though. In fact, we actually did spend on this level for 5 minutes or so. This is most likely because of, you know, the first run through we actually did done is the mission objective, and the second run through we did done is the forms of gem collecting. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the majority of the levels themselves every nowadays in book 3, or in this case episode 3. But even then though, that we can able to actually cope with that. So next level we have is level 13, Secret of the Golden Realm. And it appears to be a golden variation of the Dragonator enemy that we did manage to able to... Well, we've already come across into a normal variation before, but now it's time to face the golden variations. Even then, that we can able to actually see how, when it comes to difficulty-wise, will be not that much of an issue though, because I'm pretty sure it behaves exactly the same as how it does in the normal counterparts of Dragonator. Except the notable difference is the fact that, well, he's pure gold. So, and thankfully though, the mission objective is not that bad actually. We just have to use these, you know, these touch glowing blocks that we need to only do like 10 touches or less. So thankfully though, we don't have to deal with the entire level without getting hit at all. Oh jeez, that is the most ridiculous mission I've ever seemed to come across into the forms of the actual game so far. Well, until when we actually get into a later portion of the game, that expecting that we would able to... Okay, that works. Because yeah, the good thing about the diagonal movement drops is the fact that the I'm presuming this might be to do with the forms of the backpack. Now the fact that you can able to actually... No, get back in here. Sometimes the hit detection, when it comes to like not to get closer to the doors or something like that, it just makes me feel like the game expected me to able to go through the door, but I wasn't meant to, because even then I need to able to get into the I really can't stress myself enough about the fact that I've always loved to do speedrun tactics sometimes, but when it comes to games like this, how the fact of the matter is though is the fact that, I don't know, whatever. Alright, so once you reach the top, as you expected, that he'll once again got himself his bang of his head. But yeah, you get the idea. It's pretty much exactly the same as of how it does it in episode 1 and episode 2. But even then though, that is as far as you might expect it. But the only major difference is the fact that the obstacles are very much different one another. So there we go then. That concludes level 13. But we're not gonna finish that level yet, because obviously we still got these gems to collect through. So even then though that, well, usually I've already got 1 gem. So even then though, we've already got 2 more gems to go. So even then though, that now we've actually unlocked Toadette segments here. So even then though, before we get into the Toadette's levels, we have to go back into this level one last time, but this time collecting those 2 gems, which thankfully though is not that hard to get though. You see 1 over there, which even then though, that, well, because the main purpose of this level as far as gimmicks goes, is the fact that we need to use these glowing blocks. And every time, yeah, you use one of those, it'll take you to either up or down, or sometimes horizontal movements and stuff like that. So, as you might expect it to see how this will turn out, so... But yeah, as far as I've mentioned this before, how the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that recently, that WarioWare Gold has been just recently released yesterday in the UK, which, as far as I've noticed something, is the fact that it got a lot better than I was expecting it would be. Sure, it's a lot more better than the likes of, to me though. I think it's way better than the forms of Game & Wario to me though, for the Wii U. This is most likely because I'm more different to the forms of, new stuff to the table, while the old style, stuff has always been my cup of tea, especially noticeable compared to the likes of how it does it in the, oh, you're kidding me, I just got hit. Because yeah, I'm more accustomed to the forms of the old WarioWare series instead of like something new to the table in Game & Wario, because it just feels completely all over the place to me. Like, I know that Gamer is the best option because it always resembles Game & WarioWare series enough, but I just really can't help it for myself how the fact that most of these games are completely, well, mad to me. I mean, sure, the visuals do look very nice touch in Game & Wario, but it's just the actual games themselves. They're pretty much not that much replayability to me. Well, as far as the actual game selections goes. Well, I was saying the same thing, but in forms of, well, I don't know about that. Anyways, so let's finish this level one last time, and hopefully we'll get ourselves the, well, the already collected Power Star of any kind. And sure enough, that we can able to move on to the next level. So, wow, we actually spent 2 levels so far for 10 minutes. Can you imagine why? How the fact that the majority of the levels themselves can go really longer at this point, especially noticeable with my time length schedule with my recording sessions in general, that could be kind of a convenience for this throughout. Alright, so now we're done with the Secret of the Golden Realm, and now let's move on to the next. Oh, first before we do that, there's an envelope over there, which appears to be Mummy Me Maze Returns, which is more likely a sequel to Mummy Me Maze from episode 2. The only major difference is the fact that while you do have more time, like 60 seconds this time instead of the usual 30, and second of all is the fact that you're playing as Captain Toad on this particular Mummy Me Returns, and third and final thing is the fact that well, of course you do get a whole bunch of 1-ups, which is the third thing. And the fourth and final thing is the fact that the Mummy Me's, or in this case these actual Mummy Toads, usually send out 2 of them this time, which even then though, that again, it always reminds me of the forms of the Cosmic Clones for both Super Mario Galaxy 2 and the forms of the actual Cosmic Clone from Super Mario 3D Land. Well, usually in Super Mario 3D Land, there only has like 1 Cosmic Clone around here. So, expecting that in this game it usually has like 2 or more of those, you know, Mummy Me's. So, anyways though, and also you do have to worry about these Shy Guys after all, so even then though, that as you might expect it, because even then, if you managed to spot one of them, then you weren't able to actually just get chased by them. So even then though, that may seems the case. So, anyways though, oh, almost to 500, but I'll take 476 as it is. So, oh well. I did try though. Anyways though. Now let's move on to the forms of, you know, Toadette's Triabins. And that's the forms of level 14, Shy Guy Shadow Den.
Here I go!
And it appears to be we're gonna be in the, well, the shadow looking dungeon of any sort. Now the basic premise of this mission here, as far as the actual mission itself, do you remember back in book 1 or episode 1 that you have to utilize like, oh, I just got caught by a Shy Guy after all. Yeah, I thought I was more to say so. Do you remember back in the forms of episode 1 in during the likes of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker books throughout? Basically you have to we need to get sneak bypass every single Shy Guy in a level 6 on book 1. However though, in this mission in particular, we have to deal with sneak bypassing every single Shy Guy. So this means if you actually get caught by the once, then you'll pretty much failed the objective. So even then though that, well, I could assuming so for that anyway though, because even then, apart from that, I'm also able to come back for that level until later on. But for now, let's go ahead and pick up the key from this hidden room to be able to unlock this door here, which granted it gives you an ability to be able to go into this purple pipe, and this will actually lead us to a whole bunch of fire piranha plants over there. And yeah, that's what I can really say about this level though, honestly. It's just basically we're actually going to be exploring the darkness room. But in addition to that though, there's going to be a whole bunch of Shy Guys to be able to worry about. So even then, if you want to able to actually sneak bypass those Shy Guys, if you want to do the bonus objective on this level, well, good luck with that, because even then though, if you manage to get caught, well, it'll give you a lot of trouble if you want to do the 100% playthrough on this. Although, there is actually a technique you can do on this particular mission objective, like you can definitely see why until this particular message pops up, which there's a quick tip here. So yeah, you usually turn off the lamp on and off, like, I've already established that before, in, during the likes of the actual previous parts of this Let's Play alone. By simply we need to able to turn the lamp head on and off by simply pressing the Y button alone. So it maps this same buttons of how it does it in the run button or the dash button, I should say. But the only difference is the fact that you can able to turn off your, you know, lamp head off. So even then, that makes it a little bit obvious for this point. So Anyways though, so for the most part, this level's not too bad. It's just the way how the fact that, well, whenever the first time I played this game on the Wii U, I did have a lot of trouble with this level for some reason with the mission objective goes, because even then again, you need to able to actually sneak bypass every single Shy Guys after all, but even then, that again, if you manage to get caught by them, especially if you get spotted by them, then you pretty much have to redo the mission again, so that will be no good or anything else for that relatable. Level 15, Razzle Dazzle Slider. What is this, like a Casinopolis or something? Or maybe Casino Nights vibe, just like how it does in Sonic Generations? Well, it kinda looks like it, except there's no flippers, and before you do anything, yeah, I always love doing that. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, I know it's a little bit cheating as far as you guys you already know that, but I think the perfect example I just did that is because, well, as you can see, the main objective in this level, rather, is to simply we can't afford to fall into these holes there. You know, because if you fall down to the hole, then you pretty much failed the objective, and that's why I decided to do the mission itself first, and then we can able to, excuse me, then I can simply just get the gems from it afterwards. So, as you might expect it almost feels very similar to a casino vibe, except the fact that, well, with the jazzy music and all that, but again, there's no flippers around here, so even though that, well, all you do is basically we need to slide down for this particular somewhat of a pinball table vibe, but except the fact the matter is though, is the fact that normally you can able to actually activate those little light switches, just like how it does in Super Mario 3D World. Except the fact that, well, you can only, I believe you can only go down for a multitude of times as much as you wanted to. But if you want to do the, well, I won't recommend you do the gems and the bonus objective at the same time, because as far as this mission applies, you can't afford to fall off the holes whatsoever. But hey, as long as you're able to know what you're doing, then you might actually go after the gems first. But if you want to be able to be, well, you can do the opposite thing as well, like mission objective first and then the gems afterwards. But, you know, you get the suggestions here. Level 16, Poison Canal Canyon Run. So, basically, as far as this level goes, it is the fact that we need to utilize the, not only these touch blocks obstacles, but also these double cherry power-ups. Even then, I think that might be a good reason how the fact that we need to use those power-ups in the first place is because the mission objective in this level is just we need to keep ourselves, well, 4 Toadettes all in one course if you manage to touch the power stars. Even then, sometimes this mission can get pretty tricky, but apart from that though, I'm pretty much cope with it no problem. But the thing is about this mission though is the fact that you need to keep the doppelgangers with you at all times. But if you screw one up, then you have to redo the entire level again, and also the entire mission itself over and over again. But hey, at least the level itself is very small though, so even though it's not too big or not too complicated either, so I guess I should probably mention about this actually, is the fact that recently that I've managed to pick up myself my new Pokemon movie DVD. I know it's not the forms of the movie 20 because I'm not exactly ready to be able to watch that film just yet, after if I obtain most of these Pokemon movies. Not all of them, just some of them. Not the Pokemon, the freaking terrible, the movie 7, because I just... I'm sorry, oh, you kidding me? I blame on that Pokemon the movie 7 Destiny Deoxys if I say that much. Because I just really hate Toya as a character, because even then... I'm sorry, I can't help it for myself, you know? But we finished the level as normal, but we need to go back in here once again and able to do the mission objective properly, because I wasn't paying that much attention with the movements of the forms of my clones able to become a little bit more, not so stubborn, but just the forms of actual stunts. So even then, that makes it a little bit, you know, compliments here. So anyways though, the DVD I've got is the forms of Pokemon the movie 6, Jirachi the Wishmaker. Well, to be more accurate, Jirachi Wishmaker. So even then, I used to remember that film when Stuart Master first got the film back in 2012, and I quite enjoyed it actually. It's pretty good though for the most part. But well, as far as I might expect it for Pokemon anime movies to be like that. And speaking of which, recently that, you know how the fact that a couple of days ago that we've got the black and white DVD compilation in new forms of Pokemon movies at this rate? Well, recently that the Manga UK Entertainment has been just recently announced there's going to be another Pokemon movie compilation, but this time around it's going to be focusing on I've already said black and white. I meant X and Y. See, Fernando, that means it actually contains Pokemon the movie 17 all the way up to 19. See, Fernando, that I'm actually really looking forward to that compilation because I haven't really got the movie 18 and 19 yet, or in a separate packaging. But it might be a very good welcome addition for me for my DVD collection to my disposal. Oh yeah, we got ourselves another even more Coins Glory type of segments bonus stage. But even then, I'll talk more anything else for that department. So, anyways though, yeah, because for the first time ever in the UK audience can now finally pick up the movie 17, which is called Deontay and the Cocoon of Destruction for the first time in UK in a different DVD physical form. I know it's technically already been released as the forms of the so close to get 400 on that specific run. But at least I beat my own record this time through. So anyway, as I was saying, because in new forms of the iTunes stores, it technically has that film and that specific downloadable version of that film. So anyway, level 17, Fright Train Flight. Oh boy, to be honest with you guys, I'm actually not looking forward to this level for huge reasons. Well, first of all, you know how it feels exactly like how it does in new forms of level 17 in new forms of Book 1, except the fact that, well, we still aboard on a train, but a noticeable difference this time around, though, there aren't any of these snow effects whatsoever. But, because, you know, it's a normal stable train. But, one reason or another, or actually two reasons I did not like about this level, though, is the fact that, well, first of all, well, the gems aren't going to be that much difficult to get, though, other than the third and final one, which we'll get to that in a second. But on the other hand, though, one enemy you do need to able to rely on in this level, though, and that is the forms of the Charging Chuck. Because the thing is with the Charging Chuck, you can just simply able to take him in anywhere else in this particular level itself. But the trickiest part about this level, though, as you can see here, because my camera sometimes screwed me over for these particular moments notice, the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that the mission objective in this level is that, you know, similar mission to how it does in the forms of Sinister Street Lights, or in this case, Street Signs level in Book 2. Well, we're gonna have to able to deal with, well, defeating all of these Mud Troopers, because even then, not only do you able to actually try to deal with the Mud Troopers themselves, but also you need to deal with them while simply using enemies' advice, but in forms of the Charging Chuck, for example. And, while we don't have the pickaxe, unfortunately, though, but even then, though, although it's kind of like the exact same thing for how it does it in Sinister Street Signs, but except the matter is, though, is the fact that this mission, I'm not gonna lie, is actually one of the hardest missions I actually gonna come across into in this game so far. I think it's most likely because of how the fact that you have to rely on enemies sometimes in this particular level itself, and I think that without any sort of power-ups or any items for this disposal, like the forms of the turnips or the super pickaxe, well, you're gonna have to rely on the enemies as far as the actual attacks themselves to be able to actually instantly kill those Mud Troopers. But that's all there is to notice that, because even then, I mean, if you do die, like, let's just say a few times worth noting for, then you're gonna have to redo the entire process over and over and over again if you manage to screw things over and over again. And another thing is kind of mentioning is the fact that since I've got myself 2 gems with me so far, well, this is a prime example we need Charging Chuck for this level, because you notice there's the solid gray blocks that we can't destroy because we're pretty much limited for our attacks, other than you can able to actually just go ahead and just, well, I don't know. But you do need to able to rely on the Charging Chuck so that he can able to actually prowl for those blocks for you. See, but then if once you've done that, then you would able to get yourselves the third and final gem, no problem. But even then, though, yeah. I suggest you don't go for the Power Star just yet, though, because there's going to be still some more of those Mud Troopers to deal with right there, But this time around though, we need to reutilize these bird-type enemies. And even then though, if you do with that, then you would able to actually deal with the mud troopers just as well as far as you used to be. So, one thing I will admit though right away with this mission alone, sometimes it really overstayed their welcome sometimes, because even then though, sometimes it takes forever to able to actually keep on doing that all the time. But usually it's not that too much complications, but it's just how the fact that it's way too much sometimes. But even then though, whenever I play this on the Wii U version, I seriously got screwed over several times. I think it's most likely because of how the fact that, wow, you have to deal with the charge and chuck the entire time on that particular level. But I mean, that's basically how this is. But anyways though. So anyways, we're almost nearly towards the end. Thankfully though, we've got ourselves the final stretch of road. Well, just dealing with the final few mud troopers, as you can tell here. And then once we deal with those, then we can simply finish off the main level as usual. So, hopefully we can get ourselves down and over with, so... Okay, good, that's good. Right. And one more, and I think that will do it. Because that way, we're able to actually get ourselves not only those 3 gems, but also the mission objective completionist. So... Thankfully though, it only took me about 2 attempts on this mission though, or in this case the entirety of the level itself, unlike any forms of my own time on the Wii U version, just because of how frustrating that level can be sometimes. Anyways, level 18, and it does require 120 gems, as far as you can see on screen, and the level is called No Sleep at Kamek Keep. Whilst if you ever play this on North America, I believe this level is called No Sleep at Magic Koopa Keep, which as far as was known for the North American version, if I remember correctly. Because yes, much like how it does it in, you know, in Mario Party 9, the fact that normally in the UK version, or the PAL version of Mario Party 9, always calls Magic Koopa Kamek, but then in the North American release, it always calls Kamek Magic Koopa, because even then it makes it a little bit more of an alternative, you know, names between the two. Well, for both regions anyway though. But anyways though, as far as worth mentioning. So anyways though, in this level in general, it's basically we need to go ahead and climb through the actual tower itself, just like in forms of any other Wingo levels like this. Like for instance, like Wingo's watchtower and all that stuff. But except the fact that we don't have to do it with the gust of wind or something like that. Instead, we have to rely on the forms of keep an eye out with Kamek himself, because sometimes he just loves to able to teleport all over the place, and also not to mention though, he constantly gonna be doing this little magic spells on you. So even then though, I suggest you watch out for his spell attacks, because of that though, that if you manage to get hit several times by Kamek, then you're probably gonna get yourself screwed over, so... Alright, so for the most part it's not that bad. On the other hand though, there's a key onto this particular plug over there, and... What? How come it disappears? Let's try that again. Alright, let's see if we can just aim it very carefully, and my depth perception is going pretty bad. But, hey, at least it's my fault for doing that, and I think that probably does it. Because yes, we do need a key for that specific, you know, key padlock door, so that way we can able to take the key to the actual locked door, so... I'm sorry for a little bit of an awkward, you know, awkward silence for this going on, for this commentary-wise, folks, because the weather itself today was actually ridiculously hot at the same time, but even then, though, that makes it a little bit more obvious at this point. How the fact of the matter is, though, but whatever. But hey, at least I'm still pretty much warmed up as it is, but I just really expected I need to drink lots, so that's why I need to point eggs out for this point. Anyways, though. So, yeah, you get the idea, but even then, no, that's just how I think it is. So, let's go ahead and just get into the other side. So, are you kidding me, you stupid little tree platformy guys. But on the plus side, though, we got a super mushroom back, so at least that's the only good thing, so... Okay, so there's a dead end here, so we need to get... Are you kidding me? Are you really freaking kidding me, Kamek? You seriously have to get away with me that easily? Hi. Unbelievable you are. Anyways though, I think that pretty much does it from here. On the other hand though, let's activate the P switch, so that way we could potentially try to get to the other side. So yeah, As far as the mission objective goes in this level, I'm pretty sure it needs to be required to collect certain amount of coins again. But it's going to be quite a lot of coins to be collected though, on the other hand though, because, well, you see why as soon as we actually get to that point. So, okay, for some reason I just got confused and lost in this place already. Because I know for the fact that it's been a long while since I actually come to this level again. But I've played the Wii U version once before. So I basically should know what I was going to be doing at. But I have no idea where I'm going there. Okay, I need to get into the actual pipe somewhere. So that way we could able to potentially try to get up to the top of the actual highest level as possible. But hey, at least we can able to actually just find it, I suppose. In fact, there might be a blue pipe around here, so even then though we could generally just try to teleport from here. There we go. Hui. It takes a while to actually navigate through that, but before we go up, on the other hand, we need to get down here just because of this little secret in this particular room here. And because of that, whole bunch of coins. So, and also, not to mention with these whole bunch of coins, but also the third and final gem. So, yeah, I know this level's gonna be, well, it's gonna be slightly longer than it's used to be, but apart from these kinds of stimulating stuff, I believe we've only done about, like, let's just say, I don't know how much levels that we've done though. I'm pretty sure it's only 7 levels that we've done, just like in the forms of the last video from the forms of part 2 and 4. So, again, as you expected for an even number of parts to be more accurately playthroughs and all that stuff, or let's plays and stuff like that. But anyways though, the final section of this level, by the way, is just simply we need to dish out as many of those chemics as possible, but if you do that, then you would able to accomplish this mission that way. So, there we go, that concludes that level. And I believe we need to have collected about 190 coins for this level alone, so that's quite a lot of coins to be collected throughout. But on the plus side though, that we did manage to accomplish that, no problem. So, but it can be pretty tricky sometimes though, I will admit though. Reunited at last. So this means we're now switching over to Captain Toad once again. And we have the exact same scene as of how it does in the forms of how it does it in episode 2, that we once again ride on Dragonator, but this time around though he's in gold. And this also makes a little bit of a difference here, is that as you can see, every time you breathe fire on the Dragonator, you actually transforms blocks into coins, very similar to the likes of how it does in the Gold Flower power-up in New Super Mario Bros. 2. So even then though, that except the noticeable difference to the likes of New Super Mario Bros. 2 is that you don't get 1-ups every time you collect 100 coins or anything like that. It's just a mini segment scene. So, but on the plus side note for Captain Toad, then he now finally get onto the ride with Dragonator. So there you go. Rock on, Captain Toad, rock on. So anyways though, I'm afraid we're gonna have to end things off at this point here, folks. So join me next time of Let's Play Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo 3DS. Is that we're gonna be hit off to level 19, Retro Ramp Up. So see you guys next time. Later, fellas.